little bit of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about today. So it's about the importance of great leadership and how that plays into, what we do every single day. What it takes to create a high caliber workforce, because we can't do it without our most valuable asset. Training and education to support that high caliber workforce. Ensuring that we've got the right tools for the right job. And also equipment, because, equipment and tools are slightly different things. So it's about using common language as well, using scientific language and upping our game, so we are talking about things correctly, and working together. That power of partnership is so important. So before I do that, assuming, there we go, it's working now, brilliant. So I want to talk a bit about the scale of what we do every single day, and excuse me, getting old is no fun, so I'm going to have to put my glasses on now. So I can't see any of you anymore, I can see the page instead. Basically, the total occupied floor area in the NHS in England is 7 times that of the Tesco's UK shop portfolio. So that's a really big area we are cleaning every single day. And that's the equivalent to cleaning an area the size of Paris every 4 days. There are more people sleeping in our beds than there are hotel rooms in London. And we have 40,199 whole-time equivalent cleaning staff, which is 1 to every 3¼ beds, or equivalent to the number of runners in the London Marathon. So you can see there that it's a huge task we're carrying out all the time, day in, day out, 365 days a year. So let's start at the top, maybe. There we go. Yep, leadership. So we know how essential leadership is, but we're not just talking about the boss here. There are leaders throughout our organisations, and leadership comes from the top down, but also from the bottom up. We need, as good leaders, to be listening to our cleaning operatives, to be listening to those that are doing the cleaning, and listening to our patients, our staff, our visitors, everybody, to ensure that we are hearing the right messages, that we're not becoming blinkered, and that we are doing the right things day in, day out. It's all of our responsibility to drive and maintain cleaning standards. We have to do that. Cleaning is everybody's responsibility, and I'll say that again because I really mean it. Cleaning is everybody's responsibility, not just the cleaning operative. It's important that we use our regional, national colleagues, and we link in with the professional associations, AHCP, HEFMA, and other associations to ensure that we really genuinely understand what does good look like. Because that's another part of this, isn't it? What does good look like to us? So our high caliber workforce, it's crucial we look after our teams. They're really important. They are our most valuable asset. It's not the robot that wanders the corridors and talks to the kids. It's not that great ride-along machine that you use, or the different mopping solutions or any of those things. It's the people. They make it work. And we have to look after them. We have to develop them. We have to train them. We need to talk to them. How many of you in this room, when you're trying to look at a new way of doing something, go first to your cleaning operatives who are doing it every single day and say, look, this is kind of where we need to be. Have you got any thoughts on how we can get there? Let them own it. Let them develop it. It's important to develop these staff, give them a voice, make sure that what you're doing, that they know it's important. They're involved in the process, but then beyond that, showcase them, shout about the great work that they're doing. We don't do that enough. In the NHS, we are wonderful at saying we got that wrong. We didn't do that quite right. We're not so great, especially when we talk about cleaning and infection prevention, in turning around to people and saying, do you know what? My guys smashed it. They did an awesome job, and, really celebrating that. Yeah, okay. So training, development and education. We know, we have the 2021 cleaning standards. We have a wealth of, the cleaning manual with the posters, with the videos. And that's great, it's a free resource. But there's lots of other things out there, and we need to be using that. Changing and, looking after our staff can have a wider effect. We need to continually help them to improve by developing them, and investing them in our cleaning operatives allows us to be to have that success. There's apprenticeships out there. I mean, let's think for a minute, why is education and training so important for cleaning operatives? It's an easy job. We do it all the time, don't we? We dust at home, we wipe things down. Or is it because it is much more scientific? We know it's crucial to the delivery of high quality patient care. We also know, as the Council of Deans study in 2013 said, that lack of education, training and development opportunities contribute to poor quality care. There are a wealth of areas that you can look at through the centre, so through us. There are, various opportunities for apprenticeships, so it's all fully funded through the apprenticeship levy. Our local training, the minute someone starts with you, that's where their training starts, and it's really important that you do those local inductions, you do use the cleaning manual, and you do support them through that. But beyond that, there are a huge number of online training, bite-sized things that can be used, but there's also a sustainable, fully funded career path for cleaning operatives as well. From the level 2 healthcare cleaning operative, which is kind of your GCSE level, through to your level 3 team leader, your A-level level, departmental managers at level 5, which is kind of a foundation degree, and up to a chartered manager, which would be kind of your BA honours type of degree. So it's really important that you do give people opportunities. It's not forcing them on them, because not everybody wants to go down that academic path, but many people do. So it's important that you use the tools that are out there and the funding that is out there. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it's really important to be having those conversations with your education and learning department within your trust to make sure they're linked in at a national level with what's going on, and that your guys are seen as, we need some of that funding. We've got people, we need to go through this. Okay, tools. So this isn't, about our screwdrivers, our mops, our buckets, anything like that. This is about our people again. This is about the toolbox talks. What do they have in their toolbox to help them? Are you helping them by giving them the right information? Are they included as part of the morning ward talks to know if something's gone wrong, if something's changed? In mental health, if a patient is not feeling well, are we involving them in them and giving them the tools they need to do their job properly? Are we allowing them to dynamically risk assess things? So, for example, if they walk into a toilet and it is clean, but they know there's one round the corner that is in a terrible state, this is, they've got time to clean that, and the other one is a check clean. Are they able to, just look at that and go, well, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to top up the hand towels here because it's perfectly clean, it's fine. I'm going to spend extra time in that other toilet that needs a really good, thorough, deep clean. And again, I'll come back to what I said before, education, development. Are we developing our staff to give them the tools that they need to carry out their incredibly difficult job every single day? So equipment. Now we are talking about our mops, our buckets, our robots, all of the different things that are out there. We have to be open to innovation and new products, but not for the sake of a new product. But we should be looking at this. What makes the job easier? What makes it, take some of the stress, what makes it safer for our cleaning operatives to carry out their job? But above everything else, you must think about the life cycle. We talk about this. When we think of PFIs, we think about hard FM, but actually, there's no point in opening a new ward and buying 10 vacuum cleaners with no plan to replace them. You have to have a life cycle built into everything, because otherwise what happens in 10 years, you've got people trying to pull this vacuum apart to fix that one, so now you've only got 8, and your cleaning operatives have got a harder time because they don't work very well anymore. They're not really doing the job they were designed to do, and they need 10, but they've only got 8. So it's really, really important. It's important to work with all of your partners. So whether you have an FM partner doing your, carrying out your services, or you're an in-house contract, work with your suppliers, work with your partners, because they have great training. They know about the equipment, they know the life cycle of the equipment, and they can show you how to get the best out of whatever it is that you've got. But no matter how fancy that piece of equipment is, it does not replace your people. You know, it doesn't replace the basics of a really good environmental clean, and that is key. You know, it doesn't matter. People see something coming out as a panacea, it's fine, you know, we don't really need to clean anymore because this piece of equipment does it for us. That will never be the case, certainly not in healthcare. We need those people to carry out really great cleaning before we bring in the bigger guns that have something else, whether that's UV light or, you know, any of the other things that are out there, but we need to think about that first. The next thing is about language. So how many times do you go to the same ward every single week and you find a ripped chair or a hole in the wall or something like that, and you mark it down every time because you know it can't properly be cleaned anymore? But we just mark it down, it's a failure. We don't really follow up on that. We need to think about how we're talking about things. And, you know, my good friend Delia, if she were here, she would say the term beyond the scope of cleaning. And that's a very key thing. We shouldn't be afraid to use those terms. We need to actually work together with our board, with our hard FM colleagues, with our IPC colleagues, to trigger moments where, you know, look, this chair has been here for the last 6 months. We know there's ingression in it. We know it's not fit for purpose. It doesn't look nice, but you're displaying 5 stars to the patient. They're like, well, how does that marry up? We got 5 stars and this chair is all tatty. It should trigger something that says, right, this has got to get out the ward. It needs to be replaced. And working together to do that, we can trigger that action. It's really important that we stop being blinkered to some of these things that have become the norm. You know, we know that cleaning in healthcare is a science. It is not like cleaning in an office. It is something we take for granted, our cleaning operatives take for granted, that they're just cleaning, but they're not. How many times has people in this room heard someone saying, well, I'm just a cleaner? No, you're not. You are a cleaning operative and you carry out a very scientific task as the front line of defence to infection prevention. So, power of partnership. We talk about this a lot, and it is so true, but people think, okay, well, power of partnership is just working with infection prevention, isn't it? Or is it just working with our hard FM colleagues to get that hole in the wall fixed? No, it's not. It is about coming back to what I said before, cleaning is everybody's responsibility. So that power of partnership works nationally, internationally, throughout your trust. It should be, you know, your clinical colleagues, the board, everybody. You have to report up to the board. If you don't, there is no point. I know I hear this a lot. People will go, my board doesn't like to see red or amber on our board reports. But then when you go and ask them for money, how are you going to get that money? Because they're going to say, well, you don't need it because everything's green across the board. Don't be afraid to put up a 3-star. Don't be afraid to put red on that board report. Because if that's genuinely where you are, because of issues, because of lack of funding, because of, you know, any number of things, not getting enough money out of the apprenticeship levy, you need to be tough enough to say to your board, this is where we are. And if you want us to be compliant and be green across the board and have 5 stars everywhere, then this is what we need to do. It's no point in hiding it, you know, because we will at the centre expect that your board knows exactly what's going on. So if I go onto a ward and it's got a lovely 5 stars there, but then I see, you know, drip stands like covered in dirt and dust, and you tell me, well, do you know what? But we only display it because the cleaning operatives, because they do a great job, but our clinical colleagues and our hard FM colleagues don't do a great job. That's still hiding the truth. Cleaning is everybody's responsibility. And that power of partnership across the board, whether it's with your FM partners, your suppliers, whether it is with your board, with your IPC colleagues, whoever it is, there's always got to be a partnership there to make it work. So, a little bit about what's on the horizon now. So, obviously, we've kind of, we've had the 2021 standards out for a while now. And anybody in this room that was part of that process knows how hard that process was. But equally, they also know that at the time we wanted everyone in healthcare to have the same one, and it hasn't quite been that. It's been a slightly bumpy road to that. So later this year, hopefully before the end of 2024, we will be bringing out updated standards that will bring on board the ambulance sector and give guidance to care homes on how to implement them. There are no major changes to the standards for people who've been running on them, but it is that update that's needed to essentially, because since 2021, the ambulance trusts and care homes have not been part of that, and neither have primary care. So we're doing quite a number of different research things going on at the moment with a number of universities. There's some FM companies out there that are doing research, so that when we do get to the next full iteration of the cleaning standards, a lot of that will be based on core research. How we audit will likely change as well. There's a lot of research going on around using forensics in how we audit, which will lessen the time, but actually make it a lot more, it will mean that what we're auditing really does show the score that you're getting. And I can see my colleague Colette in there, and she knows I nicked this off her a long time ago, but in 2001, yes, we needed a list of 49 elements that we went round and we went, yeah, is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. But actually, if I take a clean glass and I spit in it and I clean it, you're going to come along and visually say, yep, check, that's clean, but it's not. So it's how do we take that to the next level? That is likely something that's going to be, we're looking sort of 2026, 27 before we get into that full space of that, but we're expecting work to hopefully start towards the back end of next year. So there will be lots of opportunities for people to get involved in how the new standards are shaped. And they won't be terribly different to what we got now. It's just taking that to the next level. We always said this was a journey and it will continue to evolve, and that's absolutely right. There's also some quite exciting VR training packages. Now, if you're anything like me, I just bump into the wall and look like an idiot. But essentially, there are some great things coming on board that can help, rather than us just sitting down, a cleaning operative in front of a screen and a set of slides and, much more interactive to show them the methods on how we clean. And again, hopefully we'll be able to launch some of that alongside the full next iteration of the cleaning standards. And those will also bring on board the final sector that is not included in the cleaning standards at the moment, although we advise it, is the primary care sector. So that's our GP and our dentist colleagues. So, hopefully by 2027, we should be confident and be able to say that all of healthcare, it doesn't matter whether you're sat in your GP surgery, whether you're sat alongside, someone in A&E, if you're sat in a ward, if you're in a mental health institution, whatever it is, everyone will be having the same standards. They will all have the commitment to cleanliness charters. They will all have those star ratings to give our patients, staff and visitors confidence that what we're doing is really the right thing.